Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our reaction and review of American Horror Story Delicate Episode 4. This episode's titled Vanishing Twin. Who's hungry? I'm sure that is
Oh,
the big
ooh,
takeaway that everybody
oh.
had. Welcome to the new season of Yellow Jackets, which is now apparently moved over. Hey, listen, at
At
least
least it wasn't people. Oh my goodness.
there you go, American Horror Story. This season is so bizarre. And so rather than answer questions, we're actually going to go the other way and we're just going to give you more questions. And somewhere, maybe in the forest of confusion, we will eventually find something.
Yeah, we're at episode 4 now. There's only one more left until the end of part 1. Part 2 probably coming sometime next year, but it's kind of like normally by now we're not being fed this many more questions. But I have so many more questions, and there's so many other elements that have been added in this episode, like Dex's mom and whatever was happening with her husband that she's now suing. That's all connected, I feel. It's too coincidental.
Yeah, it does feel that way, and it almost feels at this point. I know that technically Anna is the lead, but what if this story is really all about Dex? What if this has all been an elaborate fake out and it is just like he's really the main character here because we've also heard about Adeline so many
Yes.
times as well. Okay, well, we're going to talk all about that. We're going to talk about the flashback and the meaning behind all of that. But as we move forward, be sure to hit that subscribe button because you know what? Is my birthday on Friday. Just to
It
go,
is. Happy birthday. If you want to give Matt a
yep,
little gift, hit that subscribe button. It's a wonderful way to just give him a little bit of birthday love.
sure. Let's go from talking about happy birthdays from eating animal bodies at the start of this episode. It's not a change of tone at all.
No, it's not. But thank you to everyone who
Yeah,
has subscribed. Seriously, it really
it really
helps the
does.
channel a lot. So it really means a lot to us.
Okay, well, I guess let's start at the beginning because this
Yeah.
was such a weird place to start.
Hmm.
We see this flashback to far back in the annals of history, or at least I think what we're led to believe is history, where a destiny has been apparently achieved, that a certain baby has been born after thousands of years.
Yeah, and it seems that this queen has given up her firstborn to be a vessel for whoever this is to come back as in exchange for, having a wonderful reign as a queen. And her sister comes in and, we see these two people dressed in black who are like, you'll be next sort of thing. And she's like, "No, I'll never give it. I'll never give my baby to you." And they're like, "Well, then you'll never have one." So it's like, again, is it witches? Is it something else? We saw a black cat in this episode. I mean, they're really leaning into sort of witchcraft and that feel of it. But okay, I have a little bit of a theory.
All
It's
right,
a little bit loose, and it's I guess kind of sort of in the same vein as maybe witches. So everybody put on your tinfoil
all right,
hats
all
because
right.
we're gonna have
Let's do
we're
it.
gonna have a Dex talk about him, his mother, and his father. So I've always felt that Dex is involved in some way. And Anna, got these flowers with, a card that's basically like they're all in on it, which
Yeah.
I think all of us feel like everybody's in on it in some kind of way. This has been the most like revealing episode about Dex, where we meet his mom. She's come in, she's like, "Listen, I need your help. I'm suing your father." "Okay, what are you suing him over?" "Well, after having some therapy, I've realized that he was part of some sort of a cult that had to do with the devil, and he was doing things to me all this time. What those things are, we don't know all the details of it yet. But the look on Dex's face when he heard this stuff made it feel like he knows and he knew about it or participated in it or was taught by his father about it. And maybe that's what then is circling down into now his relationship with his wife and whatever is going on here as well. Because there was the weirdness with the doctor and Dex at the beginning where the doctor was only talking to him and he seemed like he was into this having a baby more than, anybody else. Like there was, it felt really specific. So what if this is a situation where, we're having like the devil or a demon or somebody that's being born into this baby. They're using them as a vessel. I mentioned this in the last video, this idea, but that, maybe the father wasn't able to do that. And so now it's being passed down to Dex where he needs to help create a vessel for the Dark Lord to come back. I don't know. I mean, this show is really weird this season.
I
Good, but weird.
Yeah, definitely weird. And we're going to stay on that weird track for a moment here because what if Dex is actually related to the queen in the flashbacks? What if this is all tied to the same family? Because like the big question that I sort of have right now is like, okay, let's say there's some sort of mystical entity, like a devil, like you suggested, like somebody like that who is sort of responsible for pulling the strings. How do you choose? Are you just sort of rolling the dice? Is it random or is it certainly tied to a certain family arrangement, a deal, if you will, that goes on in a certain degree of perpetuity? You can also draw a really interesting parallel between what we saw in the flashback in the sense of some sort of deal here was made when it comes to the firstborn. And while Anna herself doesn't seem as though she has this deal, they have had these lines in this season that are sort of like, you want to have a baby and win an Oscar. And it is so ridiculous and it is so over the top, but I almost feel like it goes hand in hand at this point where it's like, Anna needs, in order for Anna to win this Oscar, she's gonna need to have this baby at the same time.
Yeah, there feels like there's some sort of a deal that has been made or some sort of a the cult feeling of it. Like we've heard all the whispering and we've seen, the two in black, just it feels like there's something that's happening here, that these two have come back. Clearly they're around. We have Nurse Ivy, we have Miss Preach. We just have a lot of characters that are kind of circling around Anna that we don't know what their purpose is still.
Yeah.
And going into episode 4, usually we have a little bit more clarity. It starts to come together, but they're just adding more and more and more people. Now all of a sudden Dex's mom is in here and it feels like answers are just slipping away. Anytime like I feel like I'm getting kind of a handle on something, they'll throw in something else where it's like, oh, now here's Dex's mom who was like, had her husband as part of something else really weird. It's just like, it's too coincidental.
There's a lot of things that are going on that are very coincidental, such as the fact that, oh, here is Sonia, who, as Anna sort of saw, has a pretty interesting resemblance to Adeline. And, these two are actually played by the same person. So either this is the show continuing to allow us to think in terms of like, oh, they must be the same person, and they're like intentionally throwing us off or allowing us to buy into Anna as like an unreliable narrator. So it's either it's a trick or there's something real here. They want, once again, they want us to think like Anna is thinking on this show. They want us to sort of examine all of these different possibilities and wonder, are they connected? Are they not connected? Here is the one thing I will guarantee, and this is a very dangerous thing to do.
All right.
But what's going to happen to me really if I'm wrong? Okay.
You'll just take the L and we'll move on.
Exactly. I guarantee.
Hey, you just had the big win over on Only Murders.
It's a very complicated win, but I will take it. No, but here's this proclamation shall be true. Whether it is Dex, whether it is some other character, at least one person alive in the present is very well aware of that scene we saw in the flashback at the start of this, that they are going to be the person who comes forward with the information and actually delivers it to Anna so that we get an understanding of how all of this is tied together. Like, it could be Ivy. it could be Miss Preach.
That's who it is. I think that Miss Preach is friend. Like we talked a little bit
Yep.
about this in the last video. Is she friend? Is she foe? Same with Siobhan. I think that Siobhan is foe for sure, but I think that Miss Preach is friend. I think she's the person who's trying to warn her about what's going on. I mean, it's also possible that like okay, this is a really wild theory, but what if
Yeah.
Anna is a descendant of the baby of the queen? So it's sort of the same vessel as
Okay.
giving birth to the next vessel on and on and on and on and on down the road.
I think that it makes sense because this all has to be linked somehow. I do not believe that it is random. It would be too hard for somebody in the present to know about it if it was random. It would make sense too if it's that long ago. Anna wouldn't know about it. She wouldn't know about that history.
Right. So if she had, the notes like "don't do it,
Yeah.
don't do it," and sort of the stopping of her having a baby, that if she doesn't know that these are the roots, and that if she has the baby, this baby will be the next vessel for this thing to come back, devil, demon, whatever it is to come back. If she just doesn't have that baby, then maybe she's the end of that bloodline, and it can never come back.
Here's my question for Miss Preach. We're gonna have a conversation here as though you're a real person. Why are you not doing something more direct at this point? Because if you can somehow have the access to deliver whatever messages and warnings that you're delivering, just say it. Just say it. Just say really quickly, blah 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 blah. This is what's going on. Like what you're gonna get a lot more trust doing that than just like delivering these like really vague messages that don't do anything other than make Anna more paranoid.
Yeah, I mean the whole situation with Miss Preach is really interesting too, because we did have that scene in this episode where Dex talked about Miss Preach, being there, and Anna being like, "You weren't there. Like, how would
Yeah.
you know that this had happened?" Sort of thing. Dex is really involved in this. I really think that the connection for his father and what he did to his mother is a connection of what he is now doing to his wife. I think it's been handed down and he's doing it to her as well.
if if this is a situation where almost everyone is in on it, which is both crazy and not crazy, given that this is the sort of show it is, and if Miss Preach is, like you said, one of the few friends in this world, clearly she doesn't think that she has a lot of outlets, a lot of ways to get to her. I don't know why nobody's like checking the note on the flower and seeing what it says and being like, oh, we're gonna give these to Anna without knowing what's on the note.
Well, listen, the last episode we saw, or the episode before, I think it was the last one we saw Miss Preach out in the wilderness, and then all of a sudden she wasn't there anymore, and there was an owl. And an owl is a messenger, or said to be a messenger from witches to bring messages to you.
Let's say, okay, let's go with this absolutely insane idea that in order for this baby to actually be born and fulfill its destiny, Anna needs to win the Oscar. Because really, I'm just thinking like, how can we get everybody roped up into this for a moment? Siobhan doing what she's doing here with Hamish and the
Mm-hmm.
relationship that exists there, the end game here, which is clearly we want to make sure that Anna stays at the forefront of all these awards
Mm-hmm.
conversations. Like, what would be her motive in all this if she is a publicist? This could be why she's coming to Anna's life to help fulfill this, to help make this possible.
Yeah, and maybe one of the reasons is because Siobhan is in on it. And if she's in on it as well, and she seems very like, it's very coincidental that she met her at
Yep.
IVF, sort of group chat, and, all of a sudden they're best friends, and all of a sudden she's her publicist, that maybe she's trying to make it that Anna has a platform so that this baby will have a platform. Because if it's sort of like, if this baby is sort of like being used as a vessel to bring in a demon or a devil or somebody who's going to be influential to be able
Yeah.
to speak to the world, having a mother who's, an Oscar winner or something along those lines, then can give this child a platform immediately to be able to start speaking to the world.
I think I think we figured you out here, American Horror Story.
All
I think
right.
no, this This all at least makes a certain
Devil influencer?
devil influencer, devlincer. No, that's bad. Don't ever
No,
say
that's
that.
all right, devlincer.
They're,
I'll
okay,
take that.
see, they are really setting up this idea of influence, and that's why
Yeah, they are.
even with this baby in the form that they currently are, what happened at the end of this episode? Like, the only explanation that I can think of in my head for this is that this baby is already controlling Anna to a certain extent, because I do not believe Anna has been chowing down in that way on a bunch of other animals. There's something that's very odd, and it could be whatever medication that she's given. We've talked about that in the past. It could be what's happening with this particular baby, and if it is the baby that's doing it somehow, that allows everyone else to just be like, wasn't me, I didn't do it, we're all innocent.
Yeah, it's very interesting that if it's the baby that wants whatever nourishment it's getting from this dead raccoon, that it's chosen something that's already dead, but, hasn't been cooked, whatever, raw dead. That it's
Yeah.
kind of like, well, what would they be getting from it? Like, it's not like they're eating something alive where it's like, okay, they're taking a soul, taking a life, taking something like that. It's
Yeah.
already something that's dead. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Like, why would it be something that's already dead and has been dead a little while? What nourishment could the baby actually be taking from it? Meaning, like, if it is like a demon or a devil or something, what would they actually be getting out of that?
It's a new life that feeds on death.
Could
That
be.
I don't know. That just sounds like a slogan you put at the end of a horror movie trailer or something. There's still a lot of information that we clearly need in order to connect some of the dots. And I don't think that this is going to be this will all be up for interpretation sort of thing. Like, I do think we are going to get some answers, because this show and this franchise has never shied away from giving us closure. Even if we hate the answer, they will still give us the answer.
Yeah, which I really respect from the show, because there's lots of shows. We're looking at you, Blacklist. We're looking at you, Blind Spot,
Yeah.
that are just like, up to your interpretation, whatever you want. And it's just like, commit to something, man. Like, we've been on this journey with you for however long. Blacklist 10 seasons, and you're not going to give like a very clear ending. Like, stop. Like, you can't please everybody, and that's okay. I don't care if the ending is bad. Make it be Dexter's a lumberjack. At least you've given
No.
at least you've given me something. If you just give me nothing where it's like, whatever you want the ending to be, stop it. I'm not here for that. Tell the story complete.
If this ending is Dex is a lumberjack, American Horror Story, those weird witchy people, you guys can come for me. I will be better off wherever you send me than having to see that. No, okay, we've talked a lot about animals and meat in this video so far, so I have a slab of beef that I must present.
Okay.
And this is
I have one too.
This is aside from all the theories, but I know American Horror Story really wanted to be like, okay, we got Billy Lord and we got Leslie Grossman back.
The Ashleys.
This is what we got. Like, sure, it's a funny little gimmick for like 2 minutes that they have the same name. I want something more of them. They're both very accomplished performers that are great at various things. Their entire purpose is, we're going to make this video, which is so over the top. It's going to change everything for Anna. Anna is going to be all better. Taylor Swift is apparently going to be sharing this.
No, they are absolutely also involved. I think that, I think that they're the two witches in black. I feel like they're involved, and they're involved with Siobhan. It's all of them together everybody's involved. Everybody's in on it. My slab of beef with this episode, and it's more of just like that it's been the same thing for 4 episodes, is I'm kind of tired at this point of Anna seeing somebody and nobody else sees them. It's kind of like, okay, like I get it. Like, and I feel like at that point, if I was Anna, I just wouldn't tell anybody anymore. That it's like, okay, there's so many times this has happened where I've seen this person, and nobody sees them. Like, maybe I'm just going to stop saying that to people and dig into it myself. Like, by the time she was like, "Oh, there's Nurse Ivy thing," and we got Dex running
Yeah.
out there, I was just like, "Okay, stop!" Like clearly he's not gonna get to her. There's nobody
Yeah.
there. It's the same old that's been going on, and now it feels tired.
That was the first one that started to bother me. Like I wasn't too bothered by the rest of them, but that one with Nurse Ivy, I was like, okay, I know what's gonna happen. I I really like your idea about the Ashleys. And you know why? It gives them a reason. I will gladly take my L and eat it happily, just not like Anna was at the end of this episode, but I will eat my L if that turns out to be the case, just because they deserve to have some sort of good
Yeah.
prominent role in this story.
I just think if your theory about the fame and the influence is part of what's going on with her having this baby, and there is a connection to it, and if they are the two people that have been going through, centuries to get to this point to have this baby, and they want the influence to come along with this baby so that they can, come out, grow up, be awful, and have lots of influence,
Yeah,
then, they need to make sure that Anna is winning everything and that she has the most influence she could possibly have.
it's just if this show is trying to tell us some sort of like coded message here that celebrity culture is awful and warped and evil, that feels like something American Horror Story would really like to do.
Yeah, they would. And, are you telling us anything that, like, I think people don't already kind of know? Like,
It's funny because Ryan Murphy didn't even write this season, but there's nothing that Ryan Murphy loves more as a producer than talking about Hollywood 2,000
I
different
know.
ways. This man, you have already made it, Ryan. You're already a part of this. You don't have to keep hitting this theme home anymore.
Yeah, and you can't. You're too successful now for that.
Okay, well, we'll see exactly where things go. Maybe we'll get some more answers soon.
Mhm.
I sure hope so, because we're almost at the end of part one of this
I
season.
know there's only one episode left, but there's also going to be American Horror Stories that's going to
Yeah.
be dropping 4 episodes like shortly after the next week. And we're going to be covering those here at the channel as well. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and stick with us
Yeah.
because we're going to have that coming up as well.
Also, could we just say that Follow the House of Usher is starting like super, super soon? If you want more,
Tomorrow, October 12th, the fall of the House of Usher. It is so creepy. We've had a
yeah,
chance to watch it in advance. It like jump scared me off the couch. You're looking for something that's really going to like blow your hair back,
yeah,
scare you. This is the show for you.
yeah, and we've got really comprehensive videos talking all about it. It is a really fun show to discuss. So
Yeah.
stick around for that. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to our patrons for your
Thank you.
support. We'll see you here next time.